Welcome to Audacity Works, a podcast inspired by and dedicated to the working artist, the creative entrepreneur, and generally, doing the damn thing. This exists on the premise that the world belongs to those who have the audacity to believe that their lives have value. This is for you. Welcome to Audacity Works. I am your host, Rachel Strickland, and this is episode number 194, and it is about how to make warming up suck less. This episode is by request from my friend, Dr. Jess Allen. Hey, Jess, what's up? Who wrote in, Jess and I are both in our 40s, and when you want to warm up for Ariel in your 40s, it's different from warming up in your 20s. I know you're so shocked. And she was just kind of sharing with me that it takes at least an hour with like the breath work and the nervous system work and, nerve glides and just all of the things. And it becomes a barrier, even though training is something you're excited to do, something you want to do. Even warming up is something that you want to do, but that initial hump of just like, I want to do this. Oh, but it's going to be so much work. And it was funny because we were likening it to sex. Like, oh, yay, having sex. But first, I must scrub the bathtub for an hour. And isn't it true that like the things that we want to do and that are really important to us, we still avoid, mostly because they're a lot of work. That's a lot of effort. And our resources are under duress a lot of the time these days. So how to do it? I have some thoughts. Let's talk about it. If we can isolate the problem a little bit further, it's not that it's effort or even long effort. It's the first 10 to 15 minutes, because once you're in it, you're like, yay, I'm in it, and you can just do that. So that's what we're dealing with. The first 10 to 15 minutes, you're like, I have things I'm excited to try. It's just that bathtub is awful dirty, and I'm going to have to scrub it a lot before I can even get into the air to try the things. And Jess was asking about, are there any rituals that I use, or any maybe taking a witchy approach to this. And I think that there's a lot of merit in that. For example, when I sit down to do the creative work that I do in my business, I light a candle. And I always have one on hand. And most of them I make myself and put a nice little spell in there. And I do find that once that candle is lit and I sit down at my desk, the ideas come and I have what I need to do my work. I'd actually be interested to see if that works with aerial work. I have used it as well in other studios doing ground-based research, and I thought it worked really well. But most of us don't have access to a space where we can set up an altar and light a candle and then go train. We're usually in someone else's studio. My friend Jess actually has, you could actually use this because you have a home studio, beautiful home studio. So I think there could actually be something to that. And if anyone has ever been to the Creative Intensive, back when I used to lead it with Lee Clayden. Lee Clayden has a way of preparing spaces that is so intentional and is done with so much love that you walk into the space expecting to find an empty gym with which you're about to start an intensive day of training. But you walk in and he's burnt incense. He's lovingly arranged all of the apparati. The rigging has been checked. There's music on, and you realize, oh shit, I am walking into a holy space that's been prepared very lovingly for me. And it really changed the way that we would begin the day during the creative intensive. I've learned so much about creating intentional space by just watching Lee and the care that he puts into preparing spaces. So if you have access and you're able to burn something that smells nice or put on certain music or light a candle or what have you, and anything that you can do to make the space feel really good for you, if you have the option of doing those things, I would try that. Especially if you're using the same smell over and over. I don't have to tell you how powerful smell is to humans, and how quickly that connection with memory can help prepare you to go into this place. So those are some things that you can do to change the outside environment in hopes that it will help you change your inside environment. Now, there are some other approaches that we can take to this, because the problem is really just we don't feel the way we want to feel. Like, we want to be excited and motivated, but we know we have all this shit to do first before we get to the fun part. So if we are feeling bored and we want to feel excited, do you know what I'm about to say? Can you tell? Somatic witchcraft might be a great option for getting over this little hump, this 10 to 15 minute hump at the beginning. Maybe it's not even 10 to 15, maybe it could be even 5. I don't know. But for example, you could get to know, where does the feeling of curiosity live in the body? What is that sensation? Where does it sit? What shape is it? What color is it? What texture is it? And see if you can call that physical sensation of curiosity into the body. It shouldn't take very long, and I think that might be the ticket. If you try that, I'd love to know how it works for you. And if you're like, no, that's weird, I'm not doing that, fair enough. I have another idea there. I also have procrastinated warming up because, yeah, there's all this shit to do. However, if the song Hey Jealousy comes on by the Gin Blossoms, I'm getting up. I'm doing my head rolls. I'm doing my mobilization exercises. And by the end of Hey Jealousy, I'm already partially warm and I can move on to the other stuff. That's what works for me. What song does that for you? And I do think that there is value in repetitive ritual, like doing the same things over and over. Part of the point of having a ritual that you repeat often is that it helps you arrive into a desirable state that you want to be in. I also think it's worth noting here that sometimes when we have a long warm up and like all this prehab to do and PT exercises to reassess, sometimes, because I was in PT, this is years ago, with Jen Crane, and I had been doing this certain exercise for a long time, and I went in to see her to get checked up on my injury, and I confessed, like, this doesn't feel like it's really doing anything. And she said, well, why are you still doing it? Like, because you told me to do it, and I'm a very, very good patient. She's like, yeah, if it doesn't feel productive, I think maybe its utility has passed and you can stop doing it. I know that sounds kind of obvious when I say it like that, but I truly did not. It did not even cross my mind, oh, maybe I can take this off the table. So maybe some of those things could be taken off the table, and maybe there could be a shorter distance, to be assessed with discretion. And maybe a way of approaching that could be, okay, what are all of the things that I'm doing? Do all of them feel productive and necessary? Are all of them vital? Which of these exercises that I'm doing have started to have diminishing rewards. So barring a reduction in exercises in the first place, and all these lovely things to choose from, adjusting the space, lighting a candle, making it smell nice, or putting a drop of essential oil on a wrist, although I'm not sure that's recommended from a medical standpoint, or playing a certain song every time, or using somatic witchcraft. And I will put a link to that in the show notes, even though it's already happened by now, because I'm recording this early. It's still available if you are curious on how to do that. There is one more technique that I think could be helpful if you're into poetry, to take a poem or even a small snippet of one. Like the thing that's been going through my head and really helpful for me lately is Mary Oliver's Wild Geese, particularly just the first line. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees through the desert repenting. Just a string of words that are powerful to you, personally powerful to you and relevant, easy to memorize, so that you can just say them as you're going into a space or as you're preparing to begin. Just like this is how we begin. We say these words. I love that idea so much that I'm actually going, I don't do that like before I work out, and I'm not training these days because of the SI joint injury, but I am gonna try that last one. That feels really compelling to me. So I want to say thank you to my lovely friend, Dr. Jess Allen. Thank you so much for the requests. If y'all have requests, you can reach me always on Instagram at Rachel Strickland Creative or on Patreon at Rachel Strickland Creative. I know this episode is a bit short. It's because I'm batching them and I have to do a whole bunch of them before I leave for Ireland, which is where I am right now at the time that you're listening to this. So thanks again, Jess. And I love getting requests from y'all, so don't be shy. This podcast is powered by Patreon. So I got to give a shout out to my amazing supportive patrons. Thank you so much for standing with me. Thank you for your trust. Thank you for your support. This could not exist without you. Until next time, my friends, happy rituals, and don't go back to sleep.